What's going on, everyone? So this season, and really the tail end of last season, has really been about uncovering the past and unlocking Victor's memories, right? Kind of been going down this journey with Victor of just remembering all the things from the past to try to help save the town and get the people out, right? And for the most part, Victor has really felt like he's kind of the key to solving this all. Right? There is a bit of you that in the back of your mind's like, he might be the cause of this all. Could he potentially be evil? Right? Like there's a lot of just ideas and theories that come along with Victor just independently. But it does kind of feel like, okay, like he may end up being the biggest key and the biggest factor. And I've even talked about like, man, like if I was there, I would be, every time I have a question about anything or anything that ever happens, I'm like, I'm going to Victor. Like Victor would be the one I'd constantly be trying to pick his brain. And from what we've seen, he has an excellent memory. Or does he? So at this point, we cannot believe a word that Victor says. I mean, Victor is now consistently inaccurate, misremembers, or just remembers things just that aren't even how they happened. And what do I mean by this? Well, in the latest episode 8 of From Season 3, Victor is trying to unlock the memory of what Jasper told. The story that Jasper told. That's what Victor relayed. That's why Victor and Henry went into the tunnels to go retrieve Jasper so he could tell the story. Literally, the last 2.5 episodes have been about how Victor needed to go get Jasper because Jasper told this story to Christopher yonder years ago that he needs now in order to save the town. And all of it turned out to be nonsense, right? Not the story itself. The story turned out to be true. However, it never was Jasper, right? It was never Jasper. This entire time, it turned out it was the boy in white who, okay, first off, Victor remembers the boy in white. Victor had a relationship since he was a child with the boy in white. Victor has even recently, talked to the boy in white in the recent seasons, right? And nothing, so either the boy in white is zero help at all, or Victor just he doesn't remember that. It's just why the boy in white just never brought that up again. Hey, Victor, I told this to Christopher, you remember? Yeah, by the way, you should maybe tell Jade. Nothing hey, maybe some real help here. Obviously, it feels like, this episode or coming episodes, or maybe it even goes into next season. At some point, they're going to end up having an encounter with the boy in white and talk to the boy in white. It's just kind of how it feels like they're setting up. Because now you know that it's not Jasper, it's the boy in white. And Victor went on a journey to go learn Jasper, go find Jasper for the story. You think oh, hey, maybe I should go talk to the boy in white, who's my friend, right? And they've keep mentioning the boy in white periodically, right? Which kind of leads me to believe that hey, he's coming at some point. But nonetheless, right? So you have him remembering something that never happened, or at least parts that never happened, right? The story itself was true, which he remembered the story, but he believed it was a talking doll and not that. Okay, fate, right? Look, that's a small detail. It's not that significant, right? That doesn't mean we can't trust Victor anymore. Okay, well, let me keep going. You ready? So, he completely forgot he had a sister. Completely forgot it. Right? He also completely forgot he got his mother killed, but that was more indirectly, right? He didn't really have a way of knowing, it wasn't purposeful. But he's constantly misremembering things. He completely forgot he has a sister. No memory of that at all. Had to dig up the memory that he had a sister. I understand, he went through some crazy trauma and all that, but just to completely forget he had a sister, I get blocking out memories and certain elements and stuff like that, but to just completely forget you have a sister, that's a pretty significant thing to forget, right? And it's not the sister was a newborn or something like that, where it's he only knew it for, 2 weeks, right? No, she was a year, maybe 2 younger than him, right? So they grew up years together, And he just completely forgot about that. So, okay, so that's another thing. Okay, well, what else you got? Okay, well, here, let me tell you. So, he has an impeccable memory. Right? We've seen it on numerous occasions. Like photographic. Great example, when he goes in the tunnels with Henry. Right? Goes in the tunnels with Henry. He relays to Henry in detail, descriptive detail, where, the table was and the clock was here and he was sitting right here and there was, cups and right, and he's going into incredible detail. It wasn't like, there was a bunch of stuff here and he was sitting over here, right? No, he was like, there was a clock right here. It was 12:02 on the clock. Okay, he didn't do that, but you get my point. Like, he has shown on several occasions that he has this keen memory, that he very, even to the drawings and stuff, right? Like, he's drawing all this stuff by memory, right? Details. It's why he wanted the pictures, because they don't lose the memory, right? Like, that way he could go back and remember them and stuff. But like, he's shown from even as a child the impeccable memory that he has. Yet we have, again, him completely forgetting his sister, completely forgetting the events that took place with the boy in white of all people. Oh, and by the way, he led everyone to believe that Christopher, including us, the fans, Christopher was the one that murdered and massacred everybody. Now it seems like Christopher might have not even have been psychotic. Christopher might have just been a good guy, just trying to get by. And maybe Victor ended up getting him killed, right? Like, how do we know Victor even lost his mind? Right? Like, again, he thought Christopher was talking to a doll and lost his mind and was just like arguing with the doll. And it turned out that no, he wasn't arguing with the doll. He was arguing with the boy in white, right? Like, that doesn't sound like a crazy guy to me, right? Like it just, again, this is now several instances we have seen now. Victor just got it wrong. So how much can we really trust his memories? How do we know that key details or important things, right? Like, even just like him navigating through the tunnels, how well he knows that. Him knowing exactly where the bottle tree is. Him knowing, and he can remember that nothing ever changes in this place, that it's never snowed, that the trees move, right? Like, even like little small details throughout. It's like he can remember. And he has shown the memory bank that he has. Yet, when it comes to important stuff, it's like, oh, yeah, it happened like this. And then it's like, oh, no, never mind. Oh, my bad. It didn't happen like that. It happened like this. Oh, no, that was wrong too. Right? Like, it's just like, at what point do we just go, okay, like, maybe Victor's, he's not as dumb as he comes off as, right? He's not as clueless as people kind of perceive him to be. And yet he keeps leading people in these memories that turn out to be inaccurate, right? It's just like, it's like, okay, if somebody tells a story and the story's wrong, right? It's like, okay, maybe they just don't remember, right? Then it's like, okay, well, you just did it again. So is your memory that bad? Or are you just lying? Okay, you did it again. Okay, at this point, something's off. Like, you're not just misremembering. You're either purposefully lying, or you're just, you can't be trusted with your memories. Everything needs to be brought into question, right? Like, if you lie about one thing, how do I know that everything else you've told me is the truth? Right? And again, I'm not saying he's lied purposefully, right? I'm not saying he's out there, purposefully just like trying to, spread misinformation or anything like that. But he's clearly gotten things wrong, and pretty significant things. And it's like, okay, well, you're telling me that, like, he hasn't gotten anything else wrong, that everything else was accurate, like, that there's not another detail or 2 or 5 that he just forgot? That's where my dilemma lies. That's where my questions come in. But Anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think, like, yeah, clearly his memory can't be trusted? Clearly, he's either doing it purposefully or he just really doesn't remember. And then at that point, how do you know what's real and what's not? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out, so we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.